Can teenagers appreciate a Michelin-star vegetarian tasting menu in Manhattan? I took my teenagers to Dirt Candy in the Lower East Side to find out. This was my second trip to New York, but it was the first time for my kids. We're from Seattle, and the main reason for visiting was to see a bunch of Broadway shows. We saw Operation Mincemeat, Death Becomes Her, Stranger Things, and The Outsiders. They were all impressive in their own ways. We did some other touristy things as well, like visit the Statue of Liberty, the Met, and a few flagship stores. For the most part, we ate really casual food. Everyone was really excited to try fresh New York bagels, and conveniently our hotel was right next to one of the Essa bagel locations. We also hit up a few different pizza slice shops around the city. They weren't flashy tourist destinations, but La Pizza Italia, Carnegie Pizza, Norm's, Coronet Pizza, and La Vera Pizza all scratched an itch at the right place and at the right time. We found some really great pastries at Salsui, Dominique Ansell's Workshop, and Angelina's. We also had some over-the-top desserts at Serendipity 3, cheesecake at Junior's, an excellent gelato at Anita La Mama Gelato. I was also really excited to visit George Motz's Hamburger America, and I'm making a separate video for that. The one meal that I planned out and carefully made reservations for was the Michelin star vegetarian tasting menu at Dirt Candy at the Lower East Side. This is Amanda Cohen's restaurant where she's been showing the world how good vegetables can be since 2008. It's a 5-course chef's tasting menu that changes seasonally, but they also include several additional courses based on the kitchen's experiments and inspiration. A couple hours before our reservation, we got caught in a freak storm in the middle of Central Park. But after a harrowing journey back to our Midtown hotel, we changed our soaking wet clothes and dressed up for a very special dinner. I'm going to take you through every course of our meal, but please bear in mind that this menu was from summer 2025 and the menu changes frequently. Also, my taste buds and preferences might be very different from yours, so take my experience with a well-measured grain of salt. This was a really fun way to start the meal. The corn rib was tiny, but was supposed to be eaten like corn on the cob, and it reminded me of that movie Big, where Tom Hanks ate the baby corn in teeny tiny bites. It was sweet with a lot of charred smokiness, and then the crepe was creamy and corny with little pops of brininess from the seaweed caviar. 3 out of 4 of us really liked this course, but my daughter couldn't get over the thought of seaweed caviar, even though she knew it wasn't actually caviar. We ordered a couple of mocktails to begin the meal as well. I had the green soda with cucumber, cilantro, and serrano. My wife had the barbabietola with beet, Gia bitter aperitif, yuzu, and soda water, and she let me sneak a few sips. The green soda was a little bit grassy, but was really refreshing. The barbabietola was bright and layered, and it might have been my favorite of the two. This was so pretty with the splayed out squash blossom, but it was also full of textural contrasts and bright flavors. For me, this was essentially a salad course, even though it looks like a carpaccio. The vinaigrette had a lot of punch, and the hazelnuts with horseradish and pecorino rounded it out with a really savory finish. The spiral sliced zucchini was also really, really fun to eat. Or maybe it was just fun watching my kids eat it. All 4 of us really liked this dish. This was one of the more quirky dishes that we had, and I loved it. The Twinkie part reminded me of a cornbread muffin, but the tomato jam inside added a lot of sweetness and moisture. The smoked feta and marinated cherry tomatoes were a perfect complement, and when you put it all together, it was amazing. My daughter agreed, and she did a really great job. My son wasn't impressed, but he pushed himself to finish it. That's 3 of 4 of us that really love the tomato Twinkie. It's iconic. This was a bonus course, and even though it was small, it was really memorable. The crispy eggplant slices acted like a savory chip for the creamy eggplant to preserve lemon spread, and that was punched up a bit by the nicely spiced herbe zug oil. By the time I looked up, my daughter had completely finished hers. Where did yours go?
It was yummy.
My son wasn't very far behind. 4 out of 4 of us loved this dish, even though some of us don't usually enjoy eggplant. It was exceptional. At the recommendation of our server, I ordered the Desert Sunrise Mocktail. It was made with yellow pepper, aloe vera, lime, and guajillo chili rim. The drink had a lot of body. The yellow pepper tasted fresh and light, and the guajillo chili rim bumped up the intensity. I strongly recommend this one. This was a substantial course that felt a bit heartier than the others. It was also very, very green. I don't think I've ever tried yard-long green beans before, but they mimic noodles really well, and I love that they were mixed around the yellow wax bean fettuccine pasta. The green bean sauce was creamy and rich, but the pickled green beans helped brighten it up. I thought that this would be a bit too adventurous for the kids, but they actually loved it. My son wanted a giant bowl of it instead of the reasonable serving that he had. This was a win for all 4 of us, and something that might inspire some future meals at my home. Now this was another super iconic dish. The sheeted carrots as the tamal wrapper was genius. It's so thin, but it stays pliable enough to encase the carrot chorizo. The carrot green mole was also really pretty and helped drive home the orange and green carrot visual. It was herby and bright, and it played nicely with the pickled carrots and onions on top of the tamal. Lots of textures, lots of vibrant flavors, but this one was a little too spicy for the kids. The adults loved it though. Our server noticed that my son was struggling, and he offered to swap it out for another dish. So he actually doubled up on the green bean pasta. We didn't expect that, but it was a really nice gesture. While this was a great dish, it was only a win for 2 out of 4 of us. This dish was an adventure. It looked like a snow cone, but it smelled like a salad bar. The bell peppers were the dominant note in the initial smells and taste, so it started out light and sort of vegetal. The further you moved down the glass, the more savory it became. The blueberry mint syrup was a transition flavor with the whipped ricotta, and most of the pistachio, apricot, and pepperoncini caramel was located towards the bottom. So it started off savory and light, and it ended sweet, but also a little savory. I absolutely love this as a dessert. I think it could have easily been an appetizer as well. The grown-ups loved it, but the kids weren't as excited. I think this was a win for 2.5 out of 4 of us. All right, guys. Closing thoughts. How was your first tasting menu?
Yum.
Yum. Cool.
Pretty good. I would have preferred no spicy.
I do have one more treat for you.
Oh my gosh. Right as we were chatting with the kids about the full tasting menu experience, we were surprised by one more dish from the kitchen. This was a Roman pastry called maratozzi, which is a brioche bun filled with whipped cream. Dirt Candy adds their twist with a cucumber jam drizzle over the top. This was a perfect final bite. That little hit of sweetened cucumber and the fluffy whipped cream echoed a little bit of the corn crepe at the beginning of the meal, and it made for an excellent bookend. All 4 of us liked this one. Even though my teenagers didn't love every dish, they appreciated the meal and were respectful of the experience. The Dirt Candy team treated us extremely well, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this restaurant to someone looking for a unique dining experience in Manhattan, especially if you need a vegetarian menu. If you're worried about bringing your teenagers, don't be. I think with a little bit of preparation, they'll do just fine. The meal wasn't cheap, but at $110 per person, I do feel like we got a lot of value for the price that we paid. Bear in mind that Dirt Candy is a no-tipping restaurant, so factor that into your calculation as well. Big thanks to the Dirt Candy team for serving us such a memorable meal. I really hope to be back soon. If you enjoyed this video, please take the time to press like, subscribe to the channel, and drop me a comment with any other restaurants that you think I should stop by. Thank you for all your support, and I hope that you check out my other videos. Stay crispy.